Oh, the sun shines bright on my old Kentucky home.
Well, as soon as the tornadoes hit, everybody in the bourbon community just felt it, and we were all trying to figure out what to do, and a lot of us were trying to create our own little benefits. And then we kind of started talking, the Kentucky Distillers Association, the organization Bourbon Crusaders, and I started talking. We decided instead of doing our own individual events that we would pair our resources, and we created really a three-headed dragon in 3 days. Had this entire thing organized within 3 days, and I've done a lot of charities in my career. It usually takes about 6 months to a year to organize something like this. Well, we reached out to all the distillers, we reached out to enthusiasts, collectors. We knew we wanted to do an auction, so we brought in like the best auctioneer in the state, Bill Minnick, and we started to get a collection of incredibly rare bourbons, like a 19-year-old Willet, a 20-year-old Four Roses barrel. We're talking about full barrels, so if somebody bought this, they would get the entire barrel. And when you have something so big, something so rare, so unique, we were able to attract bidders, bourbon enthusiasts from all around the world. That Willet 19-year-old barrel went for more than $400,000. So we were able to get items in that were donated by the distilleries and the individuals that made people want to bid and get in on the act. In my career in doing like charity auctions with bourbon, I've never seen anything like this. I've been a part of some that raised $500,000, $100,000, and they've all been for good causes. But what this event did, is it brought people out of the woodwork who were looking at their bank accounts and trying to figure out what they could do to help. Everybody in the country who was a bourbon fan wanted to help, and even if they did not place a bid, they would share it, they would talk about it, and that was what the bourbon community does. The bourbon community has an incredibly big heart all around the world, and everybody was in on this. While we organized it, it was the consumers out there who care about bourbon, who care about Kentucky, that really came through for us and told the story of bourbon. And at the end of the day, they put their money where their hearts are, and that was it in this auction.
Kentucky Distillers Association, our partners with the Bourbon Crusaders, RJ, Fred Minnick, everybody knows, and all of the staff and all of the people who helped put this together. We're honored to present you with a check for $3.4 million and growing. Our auction site is still open. We're still getting in contributions, and we raised this in 11 days. Thanks to the distillers and the people who donated bottles and barrels and things like that. So, thank you.
This is another example of the outpouring of love that we saw after one of the worst natural disasters in our history. On that very difficult, deadly night, we saw at least 5 tornadoes, one of which stayed on the ground for over 200 miles, bringing death and destruction. And I will say it is hard to see, hard to stand in, even today, more than a month after. But as difficult and dark as that night was, the light that we have seen since is special. In many ways, it restores our faith in who we are. We are neighbors, whether we live next to each other or in the same region or not, that open our hearts, our homes, and our wallets, and our barrels, in this case, to one another to do the right thing. I believe this is the single largest gift to the Team Western Kentucky Tornado Relief Fund. And it was exciting to see the energy, the selflessness, where people came together, and even after it started, whether it was Mr. Carr donating the bottles that he was able to pull out of his restaurant, which was level, and how other people jumped in and came to our aid. Now, this is an industry that is not only particular to Kentucky, but has stepped up for Kentucky time and time again. If we look at the last 2 years, it was was everything from hand sanitizer. We didn't have it, and we desperately needed it all over Kentucky, stopping some of their production and giving us some of the best smelling hand sanitizer that we could have ever asked for, to in so many other ways. KDA and all of our distilleries and organizations around it embrace not just bourbon, but embrace Kentucky, and that is something that we will not forget. Thank you for being here for our fellow Kentuckians. Thank you for being here in their time of need, and what this is going to ensure is that these folks are never abandoned. You know, we have lots of groups on the ground for the first couple of months, and we appreciate them, we welcome them in, but there is a time where sadly they have to move to the next disaster, which has occurred somewhere else. So much of this fund is going to be used for that period of time where every planner tells you you must have the resources, and all so often there are none, to help people in that rebuilding, refurnishing stage that occurs once all the cameras are gone. So what you've ensured is that we can help rebuild every building, and every life, and that our bourbon industry and everybody that's a part of it loves this state and loves our people too. So thank you all very much.
When the last gavel dropped on the item, the Willet 19-year-old barrel, and we saw and tallied the numbers, there wasn't a dry eye in the room. We could not believe that we had just raised more than $3 million. Our goal was $1 million, and we tripled that. And what it came down to is, I wish we didn't have to do it. I wish we didn't have to do this, but it made me feel good to know that I'm a part of a community that will step up for Kentucky every single time that our fellow neighbors are hurt.
Weep no more, my lady. Oh, weep no more today. We will sing one song for my old Kentucky home, for my old Kentucky home. Far